Okay, now we can start. It's a great honor for us to host Professor Lars Kolind. And it's already many years that we are getting inspiration from his experience. And thank you so much for visiting Armenia. And tonight we are very happy to organize this event with Yandex Hall and this beautiful hall to organize this event. And we can start, and I'm giving the mic to Professor Kolind. Please welcome Professor Kolind.
Good evening. I'm really happy to be here. And having passed through Yerevan traffic, it is a pleasure to be with you. And I have been looking forward to tell you the secret behind building a billion-dollar company. That's a very simple thing. So when you walk back tonight, you will know the recipe. It doesn't mean you will be a good cook, but at least you know what the recipe is. And in my career, I have been privileged to build a number of pretty large companies. My first claim to fame was a hearing aid company, which today is worth 9.5 billion euros, which is not too bad. I also built a pharmaceutical company within diabetes care, and today also in obesity, which is worth just over 11 billion euros. And I have been engaged in more than 30 startups. The number two was a startup. But I've actually been engaged in more than 30 of them, and about 10 of them have been very successful. 10 have been completely disasters. So I know how to fail, and 10 have been sort of in between. The reason why I'm here is that I like small countries. And like Armenia, Denmark is a very small country. It's actually 6 million, so Armenia is smaller, but it's only 6 million people. But we can do things that the large countries just cannot do. We are the luckiest, the happiest country on earth. The happiest. We are the country in the world where people trust each other most. So if you have a baby in a pram and you go to the supermarket, you don't take the pram with you. You just leave the pram outside. And of course, when you come out with all your goods, the pram will still be there and the baby will still be there. So it is a very strange place. It is also one of the richest places on earth. It is the one most digitized. So there's nowhere you can do more on your smartphone or tablet or computer, whatever, than in this country. Starting a new business takes 10 minutes. 10 minutes, everything is done, just go on. So it is a very different country from what you are used to. And I am not a fan of large countries, I must say. I love the small ones. This is why I'm here. I'm also here because the leadership school that Samvel runs is a small school. It's not thousands of students, it's very few. But the impact he can have and we can have, if each of us and maybe 30 students in the leadership school are trained to do the right things, the impact can be enormous. So, that's who I am. My plan is to give you 6 examples of companies that I have built, or at least I have chaired or managed. I have not built all of them, but chaired, managed, or built. And then I will try to summarize that in a conclusion to what these have in common. I'm not burdening you with the companies that have gone bankrupt and have been terrible failures. I will tell you about those that have been pretty successful. I'm happy afterwards to share you some poor stories, but these are the ones I think you can learn most from. That's it. So let me start giving you the company that I originally built. This company was in hearing aids. Hearing aids, you know, it's the most boring thing you can do. The average customer is 72 years of age, and it's not really very fancy. So, but I took over this company, which was bankrupt. And it went bankrupt because the former management team just became so lazy, so complacent, and drove such big cars like Jaguars and whatever, Porsches, whatever. They actually didn't run Porsches because they're fast. We had to be very luxurious cars such as Jaguars, that's better. So they became so lazy, so complacent that in the end everybody became like that and the company went bankrupt. So the bank hoped that they could get back some of their loans, and they asked for a new leader, and I got the chance. This company became successful because, of course, when something is really in bad shape, you have to cut costs. And obviously we cut costs so that we got back on our feet. But having gotten back on our feet, we started building a completely new company on the ashes of the old one. And that new company was different from the previous one, because the previous one thought that the most important thing on earth is to build hearing aids. Microelectronics, signal-to-noise ratio, maximum power output, all these things were what they thought was the most important thing. And I'm not a hearing aid expert. I'm just a mathematician. So I know that I don't know anything relevant, which is what mathematicians, we can calculate and we can do wonderful formulas, but we don't know anything about the real world. And the real world consists of people, such as you and I. And these people, I have not met one person ever who wanted a hearing aid. Everybody hates their hearing aids, and I even have 2, and I don't wear them tonight because I hate them. But I actually could have worn it, but I don't need it tonight. So you are actually in a business where people hate your product. So in order to be successful, you have to add something positive to the product. And what we figured out is that the most important thing that people who are wearing hearing aids are missing is the social contact, especially to their grandchildren. They mostly, all of them have grandchildren. So we changed the whole thing to focus not on microelectronics, but on quality of life. So we changed industry from that to that. And if you focus on having people smile, because that's quality of life, is when people start smiling. So if you focus on making people smile, you are in a very positive business. If you focus on forcing them to use a product they don't want, you're in a boring business. And that's the difference. And if that actually influences everything we do, like the design of the product, why should a hearing aid be hidden? It should be visible. It should look like a small Porsche. Really, that's what people want. Or a Bang & Olufsen stereo, or whatever. Something really, really attractive. So, designing it to be seen instead of to be hidden is a very important difference. The second thing that's really important is that would you ever buy a product? You could, but not really an attractive product without a name. No hearing aid had ever had a product name. They were called E38P, or E37P if it was less powerful, or if it was a different type, it could be E40 or E41. And really the new innovation was E42. That was the tradition in that business. We found really nice names, and one was related to glasses. You know, glasses could be just monofocal. They could also be bifocal or trifocal, or whatever they are. They could have a sliding change of eyesight. We found the word multifocal. So here's the first multifocal hearing aid, just working like the modern glasses are have different apertures, focal length. So the first product we launched was called Multifocus. And nobody had ever heard that before. They say, what is that? And the disadvantage was that we were 10 years behind in technology. So while competition was starting to do digital, we were just having 10 years old analog technology. But 10 years old analog technology with a wonderful design, with a flashy name, with a different packaging, with everything that makes people happy, can sell at an even higher price than the modern digital technology that nobody wants. So, the story is that the purpose of this business changed from making the world's smallest, most advanced digital products into making people happy. And that changed the entire industry. Not only our company, but the entire industry. Now, and it was actually spectacular. We went from 3.5 million profit the first year we made a profit. The next year we made 137 million profit. Just from one year to the other, through changing the very scope of the business. Now, this does not happen by itself. It doesn't happen by chance. It happens because the company does something different from others. And in our case, the enabler to make this happen was a change of all the internal structures and whatever you do, procedures, processes, whatever it was. Because a conventional company with a big boss, with four a bit smaller bosses, and maybe 15 at the next level, and 50 at the next level, and 200 at the next level, this sort of company can never do this. Just never. And I'll tell you an anecdote in a moment about how I demonstrated that. But let us first just think about how would you design a company that was able, within a very short period of time, to change itself from being an electronics company into becoming a quality of life company. How would you do that? What I did, I was a CEO, so what I did was to break down everything, basically. And what do you break down? You start taking away everybody's titles. So there is no CEO, executive vice president, department head, senior consultant, or what have you. Just get rid of that. So now we only have people. And this was at the time where we still had business cards, physical business cards. And I remember that we printed new business cards that only had the name, the telephone number, the email address. We were the first company in the Nordic countries that actually had email addresses. It was very early. So, and a photo of the person. And I remember when people got their business card, they said, okay, where's the title? I said, there is no title, because what matters is not your title, it's you. So it's, oh, that's you. Okay, so you take away the titles. If you don't have titles, you don't have departments. So you take away the departments. So everybody is just doing a job. Okay, can it work? Absolutely. You won't believe it, but it works fantastic. Companies succeed not because of their departments, but despite their departments. So take away the titles, take away the structure, take away the office. And in order to take away the office, we had to move to an old factory building. By the Tuborg breweries, they had this old factory building in town and didn't need it anymore. So we moved into a factory building, and everybody was free to sit where they wanted. So there was hundreds of desks and no assigned places, because there were no departments. There were no big desks and small desks. They were all the same. And I'm not a socialist, I can tell. I'm a capitalist. But despite that, took away all of that junk. Now, obviously, you need meeting rooms. But why don't you take away the tables from the meeting rooms? So they're just chairs like here. You save actually a lot of money by not having all these nice tables. And the dynamics of a meeting change completely if you have no table. Okay, why not take away the chairs as well? Because then you stand up and talk to each other. We did that. So we had spaces like here with a whiteboard and a coffee machine, and these were meeting rooms. You won't believe what a difference that makes. And you won't believe how much time you actually save if you have no place to meet other than this. No place to meet, no chairs, no tables, just get together, whoever needs to talk, stand up, get your coffee, get the things done. The productivity gain from that is just unbelievable. Okay, then I wondered, okay, this was at the time where email was starting to come and there were different systems starting to come. So I actually thought, why not take away all the paper. So we were the first company in the world that became paperless. And many companies who claim they're paperless actually have lots of paper anyway. This company became paperless. And we made a, what is the right word for that? Sort of a place where all the paper came. This was at the time, most of the communication was paper-based. Where all the paper came in, we actually prevented the paper from spreading. And therefore, we had scanners, scanned everything, so that what the staff was seeing was only electronic. This was a multi-story building, so imagine we had the scanner up there. What to do with the paper? You know, we can't carry it down all this whatever. So we made a large plastic tube in the main room, just like here, coming from up there and down into the basement where the paper container is. So we had all the scanned paper just coming down like snow and with nice light in different colors. So we celebrated that we were the first paperless company in the world. And so on and so forth. At the reception, there was like a column like this, and we reshaped it a bit and painted it in marble and printed our motto on it. Not printed, but actually carved the motto into the cement. Had it been marble, it would have been better, but even in cement, you can make it quite nicely. The motto was written in Latin, cogitate incognita, which means think the unthinkable. And everyone that came into the company said, gosh, what is that? And this was today we would call it a photo op. It was a place where you could tell and easily see what the basic value and thinking of the company is. Now, in hearing, in the hearing care business, you have all these 80-year-old men and women coming in, and the hearing aid doesn't work, which was why, at the very reception, we made the nicest hearing clinic on the planet, right here. So everybody was invited to come into the company and get their hearing aid fixed. At the very center of the head office. What does that, this is all about communication. What did it tell all the staff, such as you? It told the staff what matters. It is the patient or the user that matters, and which is why we have the world's nicest hearing clinic right there, and it's free for all. So we had a lot of traffic of users, which is very valuable, because obviously we had experts in, our audiologists. These are the people that know how to take care of hearing and hearing aids, but half of the staff in the clinic were engineers, marketing people, bookkeepers, whatever people like you. So they had to volunteer in the hearing clinic. And thereby they had to actually physically touch hearing aid users and touch them in the ears, look at all the ear wax, and clean the ears, clean the hearing aids, which is actually terrible, frankly speaking. But everyone in the company actually physically met and touched patients several times per month. Can you imagine what a difference that makes? Completely. So, I can go on forever telling stories about this, but I would actually summarize by saying you cannot have a completely, what is that called? Structureless company And therefore, we actually established 3 structures. One is a project structure, making sure things get done. The other one is a professional structure, making sure that we know what we're doing. And the third one is a people structure, making sure everybody does his best. So there were 3 sort of hierarchies or structures embedded in this. And the biggest challenge we had was when we had to be certified by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration in the US. They came and inspected us and said, okay, can we see your organizational chart? We said, sorry, don't have any. Don't have any, okay. Can we see your organization? Sorry, we don't have any. So it took some time and some persuasion to actually persuade the Food and Drug Administration inspectors that you can actually maintain the highest safety standards, the highest compliance standards without having a structure. Okay, so this was the company I built, today worth almost 10 billion. It is the world leader in hearing aids. It's called Demant, D-E-M-A-N-T. That's not the main brand. The main brand is Oticon, but the holding company that owns, that now this company became a holding company and owns a number of other companies, has been called Demant, demant.com. This is the first one I'd like to share with you, and remember, I'll ask you a question later, is what do we have, what does all these 6 cases have in common? I promised you I would give you an anecdote about why big companies cannot do this and small companies can do it. And this became clear to me when there was obviously enormous interest from the competitors on what this stupid company was doing. And the main competitor was Siemens, the German company. And they were, by that time, by far the largest in the world. And we know they were spying all the time. So I actually called their CEO and said, okay, why are you spying all the time? Would you not like to have your entire management team come and visit us? And you could walk around among the staff and see everything. Would you not like that? He thought I was joking, because you don't do that. But we invited the team of Siemens Medical to come to Copenhagen and to walk around in our company. And when we were finished with all of that, and they were completely blown away, when at the time we offered them lunch, of course, and had a nice talk, and he asked me, why are you doing this? And I said, I can tell you why we're doing this. Because the more you understand what we're doing, and therefore you will want to try to do the same, the more I'm absolutely sure you will fail. Because your company can never, because you're too big, you're too bureaucratic, you can never do this. So just the more you try, the better. And they flew back in their private plane, and I don't know what happens, but a few years after, we were the largest in the world, and we were the leader. We made the most money, we grew the fastest, etc. So I'm pretty sure that they tried and failed. That's the first one. And I go a bit more in detail with that. I'll be brief on the others. The second one I would mention is Grundfos. Grundfos is today the largest manufacturer of water pumps in the world. And I'm too old, so I'm out, but I chaired this company for a period of 18 years. And during that period, we moved from being obsessed with water pumps. Every detail, we're still obsessed with water pumps, but every detail of a water pump, that was the meaning of life. we moved from there into a different focus, which is that the meaning of life for us is clean water. So we became a water-driven company and not a pump-driven company. And the impact of that has been phenomenal. The people that are attracted to work for a water company are different from those that are attracted to work for a pump company. The interest from the general public is about 10 times higher for water than for pumps, etc., etc., etc. So this was a transformation of the purpose of this company from manufacturing the world's best water pumps into providing clean water for all. Okay. The third company I would like to mention is Lego. I have not actually had any formal role in Lego, but I have been extremely close to the company and worked with the company because Lego actually was in deep trouble 2 decades ago for more or less the same reasons as Oticon or Demand, more or less. They were simply too successful. And they moved into everything that was different from where they came from. They came from the world's best system for construction toys, which are the Lego bricks, and you all know the Lego bricks. That's the world's best designed system for construction toys. And in the time I worked with them, Lego actually moved from being obsessed with plastic bricks into becoming obsessed with education. So the company actually changed its reason to be from producing all these billions of plastic bricks into forming the builders of tomorrow, which is forming young people who are able to individually and together form the future of tomorrow. So it changed its own perception from being plastic bricks into education. That opened the opportunity to work with educational institutions around the world, with parents, and it changed the way Lego was perceived. And it made Lego not only by far the largest company in the toy business, but also the highest respected, and the company by far that had the most positive impact. Okay, there's a pattern in what I am saying, and I'm hoping you're getting it. So now I'll move to 3 small companies that I'm currently, 2 of them I'm currently working very closely with, and 1 I have actually sold my part of it. And I can take the one that I sold my part of. This company actually, the idea, the idea came from 2 real estate agents. And they had for a decade sold vacation homes abroad. And abroad is outside of Denmark, typically in Southern Europe, where we all want vacation homes. So they were selling vacation homes. And the business was okay, but it was not really, it was not very good. So in the interplay with them, it was probably my idea, but I think we got it together. In the interplay with them, we said, okay, can we not think the unthinkable and make very attractive vacation homes available for just ordinary people? Because basically to buy a house in southern France is pretty expensive, and it's only the very wealthy who actually have that option. And if they can buy it, think of the maintenance cost and the hassle associated with maintaining your vacation home in southern France. Not easy. So it's not for everyone. How can we make that for everyone? That's a different purpose. The purpose before was just to sell as many as possible. Now the purpose was to make attractive vacation homes available for not everyone, but for a lot more people. How could you do that? And there, I am a mathematician, so I have no domain knowledge in anything, including real estate. But I have the ability to think out of the box, to think the unthinkable. And it was a very simple trick that changed the whole thing. It was simply that why, you know, say I'm just a teacher, a school teacher, whatever I am. I would love to have a vacation home in France. Okay, I could get a timeshare, actually, would give me a week per year, but I'd actually like to own it. So what could I do? And then we figured out, okay, what if you own 5 holiday homes? Then you don't have to choose whether it's Tuscany, whether it's southern France, or Paris, or New York. You could also have New York, or Mallorca. You don't have to choose if you have 5. So actually, if you have 5 holiday homes, you can share it with 20 other families. So the name of the company is 21/5. 21 families share 5 holiday homes. And the reason for choosing these 2 numbers, I won't disclose that, but these 2 numbers have been very carefully chosen. Because if you are one of 21 families, you have the feeling of ownership. If you are one of 200 families with a timeshare, you have no feeling. So, and if you have 5 options, you have a wonderful life, absolutely. 5 holiday homes, just fantastic. And the point is that the cost for each family is just over, or just under 25% of the cost of one. It's like 4 families per home, so it's basically 1/4 of the cost. So you can buy even better homes than you would have been able to do yourself. So this company doesn't sell holiday homes. It sells the opportunity to be a member of a housing association with 20 other families owning 5 fantastic holiday homes. This has spread like wildfire. And the company has bought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of holiday homes. They've formed numerous owners associations, and they make a lot of money because they actually manage all these homes. So it is through, obviously they also make money on selling them, but it's actually through managing all these holiday homes that they make a stable income. So, what happened there? Again, think the unthinkable, change the scope and purpose of the company, and make it happen. Okay. So that was number 4. Now number 5 is this is a company that does skin care, here, wherever it is, skin care based on artificial intelligence. And this company, I'm struggling a bit with that now. I'm the chairman and one of the investors, of course. I'm struggling with it because it's a fantastic idea. If you have a problem with whatever you have, you just simply give your data or supply your data, you photograph or you describe and your eating habits and how much sun you get, all sorts of things. And then an AI system will prescribe which ingredients will work for you. And the company will mix a product exactly for you. And it works. Normally, if you have a problem, go to the pharmacy or to the dermatologist, try to solve it, the chance that you will be helped is 30%. If you use AI, the chance is 86%. So it works. And it changes the relationship between the customer and the company. Because selling a whatever product is normally a transaction. Having your own product designed and used over and over is a relationship. So you move skincare from transaction to relationship. And you make actually something like a software as a service company out of skincare, which of course from a financial and other points of view is fantastic. Everybody would dream of that. Why is it actually not yet a smashing success? Because the industry hates it, absolutely hates it. And the dermatologists, the doctors, the skin doctors hate it, because you don't need to go to a dermatologist. Just have a product made for you and that's it. So the resistance from everyone is just massive. And we're struggling with that. I think in the end we'll succeed, but we're not succeeding yet because everybody hates us. Okay. Last point is one that it has not been launched yet. So secret, don't worry, you can tell everybody about it. But the last one I would share is one that turns recruitment upside down. You all know you're recruiting people and sometimes you're applying for jobs. What happens? You see a job posting, you write an application, you attach your CV, you mail it to whoever, and then you wait. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Maybe if it's a good company, it'll say, we acknowledge the receipt of your application and you will be hearing from us. That's it. This is the most stupid way of attracting the right people. So, and actually I have given it a name, and every time I talk to an HR manager, I say, okay, are you using closed recruitment or open recruitment? And you have no idea what closed recruitment is because it's a term I have invented. So you say, well, you can. And then I said, okay, let me ask you a question. Are you actually posting jobs this way? Yes. Are you calling applications? Yes. Are you attaching CVs? Yes. Then you are doing closed recruitment. Ah, okay, interesting. So I didn't know that, but now I have heard it. Yes, I have heard it. Yeah, but okay. So you are doing closed recruitment. And every time when I look into the eyes of this HR person, you can wait maybe a minute or two, then they will ask, what is open recruitment? And that's the trick, because our company is called Open Recruit. Open Recruit. You can't find it on the net because it's not launched yet. Open Recruit. So what is open recruitment? And now already before you've heard anything, you know it's something really positive. It's really great. It's new. It's a different way. All of that. And that's an interesting point. So you're priming your customer by creating a conflict between the closed recruitment, which is poor, and the open recruitment, which must be good. So what is open recruitment? Open recruitment doesn't start with a job posting. It starts with a job invitation. And the invitation tells how fantastic your company is. And really what a nice place to work, in the center of the city with nice colleagues and good meeting facilities and nice offices, whatever you have. So you tell about this, and then you say, okay, we are looking for people within sales, marketing, maintenance, or finance, or whatever. We're looking for people. So if you would like to know if you're the type of person we're actually looking for, you should actually take this QR code. The QR code will lead you right into a digital interview where an AI-backed system will ask you maximum 10 questions. And from these 10 questions, you will immediately, it takes maybe 10 minutes, you'll get feedback. So you, first of all, we'd thank you for your interest. And then we say, okay, you are in many ways exactly what we're looking for, but your English actually is not good enough. So, but if you improve your English, do this again, and we'll be very interested. Or you who did it will say, okay, you are exactly what we are looking for within marketing. Would you like actually to meet one of our hiring managers in a one-to-one interview? And here are the time slots. Just pick one. And 92% of these people who are invited to a job interview will say yes. They'd love to, because they're what we're looking for. And imagine how we have lowered the barrier of applying for a job. It's from these, write an application, attach your CV, nothing of that. Just answer the questions and get immediate feedback and an invitation to actually meet a person. It is lowered by a factor of a lot. And your experience, what you feel, is completely different. You are invited. Here's a company that's interested in you, gives you feedback, and the interview is scheduled for tomorrow. Not in 4 weeks' time, but for tomorrow. And obviously, then there's a process, and maybe you're not as good as we thought you were, and you'll get, but basically you are moved from where you are right into our application process. That will change recruiting for good. Nobody would use an old light bulb in a room. Would you ever think of an old light bulb in a room like this? Of course you would not. You would lose. You would of course have LED light, etc. And if somebody said, "Okay, we will move back to traditional light bulb," you'd say, "You are absolutely stupid. There's every reason not to do that." The same goes if you have learned how to do open recruitment. You will never go back to closed recruitment again, which is the business we are building. So now is my question to you. What are the similarities between these 6 cases? And I just give you an opportunity to talk to your neighbor and just mention one brief things. What do these 6 cases, you have to talk to your neighbor, what do these 6 cases have in common? And you have a minute, then I can have a cup of coffee. A minute. Now. Okay, good.
And Rosanna, you will say, tell Rosanna will give the mic, who will give the question.
Yeah, you have a mic.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a super simple question. What do they have in common? You were the first one to, where is Susanna with the mic? you had a question. Oh, not a question, actually, a point. What do you think they have in common? It works.
First of all, thank you very much for your time and sharing your experience with us. I was in Copenhagen a couple of weeks ago and catch up the sun there, and it is the most beautiful city in Europe, I think. And coming to your question, as I'm a marketer as in 15 years, so we can say that in all your cases there's one common thing which we marketers do in our everyday job: value proposition. We are creating values for our consumers, finding their pains and gaining markets. So
yeah,
this is the main idea of...
Very good point. I would say, thank you, you sit down. I would actually use a different term, because I would say these are all companies with a very clear purpose, which is different from the industry. You called it value, which is right. I would say it's a purpose that's different from the industry. That's a very important thing. Who next? Yeah, yeah, come on.
Again, thank you very much for interesting lecture. And I think the common thing that all these companies have is the innovative approach, that they start everything in a new way, breaking the old ones and organizing everything newly. That's the innovation, I think.
Absolutely. They are breaking the rules of the industry. And actually, while breaking the rules, these companies are repositioning competition. Think of, there are hundreds of recruitment companies in Denmark alone. I think there are maybe 100 here as well. The first thing you do is to reposition competition to look stupid. To look stupid. And that's being different. But you can't say, okay, we're slightly different, we're a bit better. That's not what you say. You say the others are stupid. You obviously are very polite, but basically what you say. In the hearing aid business, we said, okay, are you really keen on microelectronics? We asked the clinics, are you keen on microelectronics? They couldn't care less. We said, no, neither are we. We care about people. So what happened in their brain was that competition looked completely stupid. And that goes through all of the cases, that by repositioning, being different, you can make competition look stupid. And that is the best basis for running a business, is competition is stupid. So, yeah, okay, next is you.
Hello, thank you very much for your presentation and the talk. Really looking forward for that open recruitment application to check out. So I think we together find out that for us it was changing the focus from the product to the impact,
yeah,
and the positive impact for the customer, and from their point of view what they are getting.
Absolutely, you got it right on, spot on. There are actually several things in what you said. It is changing the focus. It is changing the focus from outgoing into ingoing. You actually start with the customer, and you implicitly or explicitly highlight the impact. Because in the hearing aid business, there were 20 million customers or people who actually got a much improved quality of life by working with us. And imagine the number of people in the years to come who will find their ideal job so much easier, so much quicker. So it's fantastic for them. Imagine the number of companies who will be able to find the best talent faster, easier, less expensively than others. The impact is fantastic. And think of the country, the labor market. What happens to the labor market? This way of choosing people is free of bias from gender, age, ethnicity, religion, what have you. It's only an algorithm. So this is the way to create an inclusive and fair labor market. We can't wait to start. So thank you. Okay, who's next? One down there.
Thank you. For me, these businesses are all human-centric, and they bring positive impact. They make the life better. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So all of them make a positive impact on society, which is correct. And that was what I just talked about. And it surprises me that even CEOs at very high level are unable to very easily, straightforward explain the positive impact of their business. Of course, if you produce cigarettes, it's difficult to explain your positive impact. But in that case, just stay out of that business. Stay into something which has a positive impact. So thanks for that. We have more time for others. Yeah, one back there.
Yeah, I think you also was brave to start experimenting and bringing new things, new theories to practice, and to not afraid to lose your previous audience, previous products, and so on. So it's pretty risky, and you got success with your cool ideas. So it's good to be brave and start experimenting, even if you have the large business. And maybe start from scratch, rethink the core things and so on.
Yeah, that's true. My experience is that with very few exceptions, you can actually create a business that is different, which is more meaningful, which has a more positive impact, and which more people would like to join. You can do it in any industry, maybe in the weapons industry, I'm not sure, but maybe with a few exceptions, you can always do that. So whatever your business is, I will guarantee you can do it. Okay?
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to ask you, what will be your opinion if I suggest you that you involve dermatologists, for example, in the skincare business? So somehow, instead of opponents or people who are contradicting to your business, they can be somehow involved and be of help in your business. Yeah. What would be your opinion on this?
Thank you for asking that question. We all make mistakes. And one of the mistakes we have made is that we have made dermatologists our enemies. We should have made them our friends. And we are actually trying to do that. But unfortunately, we started at the wrong side. So, and hopefully we can make them our friends, because if you're a good dermatologist, you would of course want your patients to be happy, and you would be part of the success and not outside of the success. So you're absolutely right. There is actually a general thing behind what you're saying. One of the characteristics of a successful business is that you identify an enemy, which is often competition, but also that you identify your friends. those who you can work together with to be successful. I have given that a name, which is that normally, if you're a conventional company, you have very well-defined walls around your company, and it is you and the others. In the type of company I am working with, you actually break down also those walls so that you change your organization from being limited to being unlimited, which means engaging the dermatologists, engaging the hearing clinics, engaging the UN that's really obsessed with clean water, engaging those people that buy the holiday homes to find other friends. So you are actually expanding your organization from just the people that receive a salary into everybody that sympathize with your purpose. This is the unlimited organization. So I know there are more questions, but I would just like to say the recipe for a successful company is the following. 1, clear purpose, focus on impact, focus on the customer. 2, find an enemy and make them look stupid. 3, turn this into a story everybody can understand. Open recruitment, closed recruitment. You will never forget it. It's so simple. 4, establish a culture and the values that are in tune with what you're doing. 5, expand your organization with partners so that you create the unlimited company. 6, find a certain type of people. I haven't talked about that. I may not have time. 7, break down the structures. More disorganization, less organization. Just break it down and you will be surprised. Everything will work anyway. 8, establish some strong symbols. The shredder with the paper coming down from the ceiling, think the unthinkable, whatever. All of my companies have symbols that you would call them photo opportunities, but they are symbols that actually tells both the staff and visitors and customers and everyone and journalists what this company is about. Find a good business model, and that's the example of the holiday home company. The business model is not to sell, it's to maintain. So that's a choice of business model. And then the last point is a bit of luck. A bit of luck, frankly speaking. I think we've had wonderful ideas and we've done all of this, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So a bit of luck will help. God will help, actually. So that's it. Okay, I think we have another one there. I have to get track of time. Yeah, we can do a few more.
Mr. Kolind, first of all, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate to have you here. It's a great honor for us. So my question was about Oticon, and why I'm more interested in that is because we in Armenia are trying to encourage people to be more in startups, to create, and not to create for themselves, but for our country as well. So Oticon is a sensational model because, like spaghetti organization, kind of change, and every change is scary, and you cannot not face resistance, and I'm sure you faced resistance as well. So I would like to know what are the most hard things that you had to overcome, because people, structures, it's different, it's difficult. And if I may, my second question, once you are implementing this kind of model, when you know that, okay, it's time to transition to a traditional model of organization. Thank you.
Thank you for asking that. I must, honestly, I must say, At Oticon, everybody was against, basically. And, you know, I gradually got friends, but in the beginning, everybody says, this guy is completely stupid. You know, he's taking away titles, he's tearing down the departments, he's moving from a wonderful office to a factory hall. You know, everybody was against, but the way I got through this was, first of all, that I teamed up with the labor unions and the people at the floor. And I said, okay, you have sometimes to create an enemy. I said, these guys up there, I don't know what they're doing. They probably may be working hard, but I can't see what sort of value they are adding to us. So why don't we do it the right way? So I got really all my friends with the workers and the shop stewards and the labor unions, all of that. They wanted to work with me. And we have employee representation on the board. So every time the board said, you can't do it, it's too dangerous, we don't have the money, all of that, the labor union representative said, no, we can do it, he will do it, we will do it, don't worry. So this was the first thing. The second thing was that I actually managed to create a scheme where everyone had the opportunity to buy shares in the company. So now, everybody could not buy the same number of shares because they were very cheap. So we had sort of a system where everybody could buy a certain number of shares, and those with the most important functions, etc., could buy more. And in that system, I said, okay, the labor union leaders are the most important, so they can buy more. This was obviously completely, you can't do that. You know, I'm a capitalist and I give the workers more cheap shares. But they all bought them. And the 85% of the entire workforce bought shares. And what does that mean? Everybody is in the same boat. And that changed the resistance. So we were now building something together. And there's something you need, those of you who have a management position, don't forget always to think about what you do, that is the I, what we can do together, that's the we, and what we want to achieve, that's the it. I, we, it. It is the purpose, we is the working together, and I is what I do. And the good leader is not a boss. The good leader is an unboss. An unboss. And the difference between the two is the unboss focuses on profit. The boss focuses on profit. The unboss focuses on impact. The boss will tell the staff what to do. The unboss will listen to the staff and understand what they want to do. The boss will sell to customers. The unboss will create value together with customers. The boss is the hero. The unboss is the servant. That's the difference.
Thank you for an interesting presentation. My question is, as an innovator, you are dealing with a lot of experiments, and correct me if I'm wrong, for the real estate business, you changed the business model and repositioned in a different way. So the question is, how long it took to find that right idea, and how many attempts you had before finding it, and maybe you can give an advice to future ANBOs, how many attempts to have and when to understand that it's time to stop and change to the next idea. Thank you.
I can't answer that question, because sometimes with the recruitment company, you know, they were doing all of this, and you know, I was fed up with traditional recruitment, etc., etc. And I just sat down, had a coffee, and I said, okay, how can we make conventional recruitment look stupid? We call it closed. How can we make new recruitment look good? We call it open. That's it. So this was very fast. In other cases, I haven't even gotten there yet. I have one that I'm working with, and I've worked for quite some time, and this is answering your question. I want to make a cookbook which you can remember by heart. Every recipe, one cookbook you can remember by heart. I have the concept, but I can't find the business model, and I've been struggling with that. How can we make money on it? And it's very simple. There are 5 different sorts of food. There's omelette, there's soup, there is sandwich, there's salad, there is something you do in a pot. And then there are some ingredients, and there are something to twist it and make it look attractive. That's it. But I can't find out how to make money on it. So if you have an idea, tell me. So I think actually we are at the time where we should finish. Once again, I apologize for being late, but I hope you haven't wasted your time, and I hope that you will be tempted not to be just a rule taker, but also to be a rule breaker and a rule maker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kolind. And of course, we'll have about 10 minutes for refreshments and also networking and having time to communicate with Professor Kolind, because after 10 minutes he will leave the hall. Thank you very much. Thank you.